Sometimes the weight you feel is not life. It is a bond you were never meant to keep carrying. That is the paradox. We are taught that loyalty is noble, that staying is strength, that enduring is love. But not every relationship is a shelter. Some are storms you have mistaken for home. And the real danger is not only that you are unhappy, it is that you have stayed so long that exhaustion now feels like devotion. You wake up heavy, not because the world is hard, because your inner sanctuary is under siege. You feel drained instead of supported, smaller instead of seen, restless instead of safe. And because the erosion is quiet, you give it beautiful names: patience, loyalty, understanding, hope. But underneath those words, something more painful is happening. You are losing energy, losing clarity, losing trust in your own voice. The real betrayal is not always leaving. Sometimes the real betrayal is staying in a place that keeps asking you to abandon yourself. Stoicism demands that you see reality as it is, not as it was, not as it could be, not as it might become if the other person finally changed. This is where many people get trapped. They do not love what is real. They love the memory, the potential, the story, the ghost. And while they protect that illusion, their real life keeps shrinking. A healthy bond acts like a sail. It catches wind. It helps you move toward your higher nature. A toxic bond acts like a cage decorated with history. It asks you to stay small, to stay confused, to keep calling survival a form of connection. That is not love. That is attachment without truth. Marcus Aurelius guarded his mental tranquility as if it were territory. Because it is. Your peace is not a luxury. It is a form of inner land, and a relationship that repeatedly destabilizes your character, confuses your judgment, or keeps your dignity under negotiation is not a minor inconvenience. It is an invasion. Stoicism is not interested in romanticizing your suffering. It is interested in clarity. If your home feels less peaceful than the world outside it, if your mind is never fully at rest, if your self-respect keeps getting traded for temporary harmony, then something essential has already been violated. You cannot flourish where you are under constant siege. Most people do not stay because the relationship is good. They stay because familiar pain feels safer than unknown freedom. That is the deeper trap. The known wound starts to feel more manageable than the open sky. But Stoicism asks a cleaner question. What is the price of staying? If the cost is your ambition, your self-respect, your peace, your values, your identity, then the price is too high. No connection is worth becoming someone you no longer admire. And this is where many people lie to themselves. They call shrinking maturity. They call silence wisdom. They call self-betrayal compromise. But your shrinking is not maturity. It is self-betrayal with polite language. Radical freedom begins the moment you stop asking how to save the illusion and start asking how to save your life. Think of a ship crossing open water. One relationship is a sail. It catches wind. It lifts direction. It helps you move. Another is an anchor. Heavy, silent, dragging across the ocean floor. You still move, but only with strain. That is what toxic attachment does. It teaches you to confuse restriction with love. It teaches you to confuse emotional survival with connection. It teaches you to call the prison a sanctuary because you are afraid of the open sea. But the soul knows. The soul always knows when it is being diminished. And no amount of history can turn an anchor into a sail. So here's the blueprint. 3 protocols. First, audit the cost. Ask with brutal honesty. Would I choose this person today knowing what I know now? Do I feel more alive or more depleted after being with them? Truth begins there, not in hope, in evidence. Second, test the boundary. Set one clear limit, one standard One thing you will no longer tolerate. Then watch the response. Respectful people adjust. Controlling people escalate. Your boundary will reveal more truth than another year of hoping. Third, reclaim your voice. Do one thing this week without asking permission. Speak one truth you have been shrinking from. Return to one value you have been betraying to keep the peace. Freedom returns through action. Not wishing, not waiting. Action. Ending the wrong relationship is not failure. It is not cruelty. It is not weakness. Sometimes it is the most honest form of self-respect you will ever practice, because your life is too brief to spend it inside a sanctuary that has become a prison. You were not born to be emotionally trapped. Not by guilt, not by fear, not by the weight of someone else's chaos. So choose with dignity. Trust your reason. Protect your peace. And remember, not every door is meant to stay open. Some must close so your soul can breathe again. Quietly, cleanly, without apology.